Have you ever gone through a breakup and wondered, why does this hurt so much? Like, way more than it feels like it should? Well, today, we're diving into a book that gets right to the heart of that question. It argues that the pain we feel, it's not just about the person we lost. It's about a much, much deeper story. So, let's get into it. Right from the start, the source material opens with this incredibly powerful dedication. I mean, it just grabs you, right? It sets the tone immediately, speaking directly to anyone who's ever felt that deep, lonely grief after a relationship ends. It reframes the whole experience, not as a failure, but as something sacred. Okay, so the first big idea the book unpacks is this. The crazy intense pain of a breakup, it's often a spotlight on a much older wound, something that has nothing to do with your act. The author kicks things off with this question, and it's a game changer. The idea is that the grief you're feeling isn't just for the person who left. It's an echo. It's your past knocking on the door of your present. And that one question is really the key that unlocks this entire way of thinking. So to understand that echo, we have to talk about the inner child. And look, this isn't about being childish. It's about recognizing that there's a younger version of you still inside who might be carrying around some really old unmet needs from when you were little and most vulnerable. And this isn't just some vague concept. The book gets super specific about what this hunger looks like. It's these core human needs. And here's the kicker. If these things weren't met when you were a kid, you might be spending your entire adult life subconsciously trying to get a romantic partner to fill that void. Which brings us to this powerful metaphor. Your partner wasn't the medicine for your wounds. They were just a mirror. They didn't cause the wound and they couldn't heal it. They just reflected it back to you. They showed you the hungry places that were already there. And man, is it easy to mistake that reflection for a cure. Okay, so why? Why do we keep making these choices that lead us to these painful mirrors? Well, that brings us to what the book calls the hidden blueprint behind who we're drawn to. The argument here is that our choices in love are anything but random. They're actually powered by this deep, often unconscious emotional survival system. It's a system designed to get those old childhood needs met, even if it drives us toward people who aren't good for us. So the source breaks it down into these 5 core drivers. You can think of them as different flavors of that unmet need. So if your driver is survival, you're looking for a savior. If it's power, you're drawn to someone who makes you feel important. Each driver puts you on a totally different relational path. And this is where it all clicks into place. The specific way the breakup hurts is directly tied to your original driver. See, if your main driver was love and belonging, the pain isn't just, oh, I miss him. It's that gut-wrenching feeling of being fundamentally unlovable all over again. So you can see what's happening, right? When we're dating based on these hidden drivers, the book argues we're basically navigating life without a map, and that leads to what it calls a spiritual tangle. And here, the book makes a really, really critical distinction. Chemistry versus character. You know, chemistry, that spark, that intense feeling, it feels amazing, but it can be a terrible map. Character, on the other hand, things like kindness, integrity, consistency, that's the compass you actually need to find your way. And when we follow that faulty map, we can form what the book calls a soul tie. And this isn't just about sex. It's that deep, invisible link you forge through late-night talks, sharing your biggest fears, your dreams, all that vulnerability. And that's exactly why breaking up can feel like you're literally tearing a part of your soul away. This all leads to a fresh take on that famous verse about guarding your heart. The idea here is that this isn't just some old-fashioned rule. It's a core life strategy. Because your heart is the wellspring of everything you do, protecting it means you're protecting your entire future. Okay, so that's the diagnosis. It's deep, it's complicated. So, what's the cure? Well, the book's big turning point is that real healing doesn't come from finding a new person. It comes from taking a journey inward. You see, the thing about trauma is that it doesn't just hurt you. It kind of freezes you in time. So you could be 25 years old, but a breakup can trigger that old wound, and suddenly you're reacting with all the fear and pain of the 8-year-old who went through it the first time. So the book proposes this radical idea. What if, instead of being angry at that younger you for being needy or making mistakes, you could actually go back in time and comfort her? What if you could become the wise, safe adult for her that she never had? This is the absolute core of the healing process. And this isn't just a nice thought. There are practical steps. It's about actively reparenting yourself, about going to a spiritual source for the affirmation no person can give you, and about fundamentally detaching your self-worth from whether or not a guy chooses you. This verse is used to capture that feeling of transformation. The idea is that wholeness and purity aren't things you have to earn or strive for. It's presented as a gift that you receive, a kind of cleansing that happens when you finally surrender. But here's the really cool part. The journey doesn't just end with you being healed. It culminates in something bigger, a new identity and a new purpose that looks outward. The book introduces this amazing final identity, the Watchwoman. This is the person who has been through the fire and come out the other side. And now, because she's been there, she can stand on the wall, see danger coming for others, and warn them, not with judgment, but with wisdom and compassion. And being a watchwoman means a total shift in how you approach relationships. You are no longer showing up to be his savior, his mom, or his therapist. You're showing up whole, operating from a place of strength, not need.
And this is the beautiful full circle moment of the whole book. Your deepest pain gets redeemed. It's not a source of shame anymore. Your scars become instructions. Your story becomes a roadmap to help other people find their way through the dark.
And so, we'll leave you with the book's final provocative question. What if that thing that broke your heart wasn't just a tragedy? What if it was actually the raw material for your greatest purpose? A pretty powerful thought to sit with.